Hello, my food-loving friends. I'm doing a bit of an informal video today. I have a lot of legumes in my pantry right now from all of the money-saving videos that I've been making. As I have confessed in several videos before, I personally am not very good with legumes. They give me horrible digestive issues. Even with, I've tried medications and stuff. They're just really not for me, so I don't eat them that often. So that's why they've been piling up. But I also don't particularly like them that much. But I have discovered that if you add enough spices to any food that you don't particularly like so much, it'll taste delicious. So I'm doing sort of an Indian curry that I'm improvising as I go along. I've got 3 shallots that I've roughly chopped. Shallots are usually expensive, but I got a giant bag of them at the Asian market for really cheap, so shallots. And I've got some serrano chilies. Ideally, these would be Indian capsicum chilies, but I don't have them. They're harder to find at regular grocery stores, but serranos are a great substitute. Some ginger and garlic, pretty much the foundation of almost any good curry. And I got a parsnip. I got a couple extra parsnips in the fridge right now. I like to keep them around because they're a very hardy vegetable. I almost said they're heartable. They're a very hearty vegetable. Bag of lentils from Winco. This is going to be the protein of the dish and also a vegetable. That's the cool thing about legumes. This is a really cool ingredient. It's curry leaves. I usually get them fresh. These were fresh actually, but they, most of them go bad before I can use them on time, so I dried the rest. So I'm going to put these in. If you've never had curry leaves, and chances are you probably haven't, because I haven't even had them until a couple of years ago, they this is going to sound bad, but they kind of smell like old car. Like, cumin kind of smells like BO and it makes food taste delicious. This makes curries delicious. But yeah, the best comparison I have is like old car smell, but they're great. If you can't find them, mint leaves are actually the closest substitute, I think. Big ol' thing of ghee that I got at the Indian market. And then a mess of spices. Garam Masala is my go-to. I pretty much always put garam masala in a curry. Sometimes I do my own masala, my own blend, and I'm kind of doing that with the rest of these, even though they're not whole spices, they're pre-ground. But coriander, fenugreek I've recently fallen in love with, it's a great spice. Turmeric I pretty much put in everything, and Indian chili powder almost in everything, just for some added spice. So let's improvise. So just in this heavy-bottomed Dutch oven-y skillet thing, got a couple tablespoons of ghee. Incidentally, this dish is almost 100% vegan. The ghee is really the only thing so far that's making it not vegan, so if you are vegan, just substitute it with coconut oil or olive oil or something. Anyway, getting that hot so that I can saute my shallots in there. And I've also just kind of prepped this for later, but here's a cup of rice and some ghee and some turmeric and a little salt. In an hour after the lentils have had a chance to cook, I'm going to add a cup and a half of water to that and cook the rice. And I've already added the shallots to the pan. I like to prep while I cook because it saves a lot of time. I don't recommend that if you're a more novice cook, but yeah, while these shallots are sweating a little bit, I'm going to prep the rest of the ingredients. A little salt. Alright, they've been sweating for a few minutes and they're nice and translucent, so it's time to add some aromatics to this and make it smell extra good. This is ginger garlic paste. So it's about like a tablespoon of pulverized garlic, a tablespoon of pulverized fresh ginger. This is pretty much the bedrock of any good Indian curry. Ginger garlic paste is often, a fermented product. You can actually buy it at Indian stores. I don't know, I always just do it fresh. And now it's spice time. I'm going to add just a mess of spices, which I know will make it taste delicious. So garam masala is pretty much the best place to start in any curry. I'm going to do a video on how to do budget spices pretty soon. How to get cheap spices or how to spend less money on spices. How to cook with spices yet still, not break the bank, because a lot of people think of spices as being very expensive, and they can totally be very expensive. But if you buy them the right way, they're not. And I pretty much love turmeric and everything too. And coriander. Coriander is also pretty big in curries. I like fenugreek. And I'm using 4 serranos in here, so I don't think I need that much chili powder. probably like a teaspoon. My husband and I really like our curries to be very, very spicy. Any Indian restaurant we've been to has not made it spicy enough, even if we say, like, make it as spicy as you possibly can. They look at us, they see that we're white, and fair enough, it's a fair cop, as the Brits would say. Like, they look at us and they're like, I don't want to risk giving them really spicy food and then having them get mad at me and force us to take the food back, and so they err on the side of less spicy. But we like it really spicy, so I don't shy away from spice. This tripod cost almost $100 and it's kind of crappy. I'm kind of upset about that. Okay. And speaking of spice, 4 serrano chilies. I actually got these for a different curry, but I'm using them now instead. I realized I kind of have to go out to the store in a few days anyway before I make that other curry, so I'm using these in this curry, and then I can just always buy more serranos for the other curry. Oh, it smells so good. I wish you could smell that. And now I'm going to add some old car, or curry leaves. So these things are sort of like bay leaves in that you kind of don't ingest them. You can, totally. Like I have. Especially when they're fresh. You can kind of slice them up a little bit. And they're thinner, they're more delicate than bay leaves. But yeah, you can totally pick out the curry leaves. Oh, it just smells so good. It just gives it such a depth of flavor and aroma. Bay leaves are also very prevalent in Indian cuisine. Maybe I'll add a bay leaf. Sure, I'll add a bay leaf. I'll add a little more salt. And I'm going to add some water. Could totally add like broth, but actually in a lot of Indian cooking, they specifically say water, and like if you use broth, it's not as good. I've heard some Indians and people from that region talking about that, how it's like, no, you actually do want to use water. So water. Now, before I get angry people in the comments section, no, I am not Indian, and I have not studied Indian cuisine. I enjoy eating it, I enjoy cooking it, I am still learning so much about it. This is an improvised dish, and I do not want to give off the impression that I am an expert on Indian cuisine. And I'm going to add the lentils. So one of the many cool things about lentils is that you don't have to pre-soak them, unlike other dried beans. You can just cook them, and they cook up in like an hour, hour and a half. So that's one really cool thing about lentils. I mean, this practically looks like it has broth because of all the spices that I put in there. The spices basically stand in as a broth. Add my parsnip. Putting the parsnip in there for pops of sweet flavor. It's similar to a carrot if you've never had parsnip before. It's really special. I love parsnip. But also just to have a little textural difference in there. Okay, this is definitely going to need more water. I can add even more later if I need it. And I'm going to gently simmer this and stir it occasionally for about an hour, and then I'll start my rice. It's been about 45 minutes, and as you can see, the lentils have plumped up quite a bit. I have added more water to this since. And we're just going to keep cooking it until the lentils are done, which shouldn't be that much longer. And behold, its lentily curry goodness.